I'm here today with Edward Okpa, who is candidate for mayor of the city of Dallas in the 2011 election in May. And we're here to talk to Edward, get to know him a little bit better, find out why he's running for mayor, why he's qualified, and why he should be asking the people of Dallas to support him in this election. Edward, good afternoon.
Hey, David, how are you? Thank you for opportunity to talk with you.
Yes. Now, we've known each other for about a year now, and I was drawn to some things that you've written on a friend's email blast that she sends out to the community, and we've taken the opportunity to sit down and talk several times, and I'd like to go back over some of that information also. Now, Edward, we met about a year ago, and we met because you had written some articles that went out on a friend's email blast that went out to all of her connections. And we've taken the time to get to know each other, sat down, talked on several occasions. So when you approached me and said, I am thinking about running for mayor again, it was an easy thing for me to say, I am interested in seeing you as the mayor of my city. How can I help you?
Oh, thank you.
Now, I would like to go over some of your background that I've learned about you that you shared with me, because I think that you're a very fascinating person and you have a perspective. You were not born in the United States.
Apparently, yes.
Where were you born?
I was born in Nigeria.
And you immigrated to the United States. You came here, as you said, because you wanted to, not because you had to. You were the son of a chief in Nigeria.
Yes.
So you didn't have to come here.
Yes.
Now, when did you come here, and tell me a little bit about that experience?
Well, thank you, David. I came to the United States, Dallas. I've always lived in Dallas all this time. It was in August of 1985. And, when I came, it was one of those, you remember back in the 70s, 80s, the Highland Electronics commercial. You put up a map on the wall and you throw a dot and boom, wherever it lands, that's where you go. So, here's Dallas. Yeah, the Dallas. And I came and it was hot. And I was like, thank you, God, because that's kind of where I was coming from. So I figured, hey, if it's hot in Dallas, I'm going to like it.
This is the right place for
me. This
huh?
is the right place for me, and I've always liked it. I've been here ever since. I've never lived in any other city except Dallas.
Now, you say that you liked it here, but you've also told me about some experiences, your first job, for example, that it wasn't always, wow, thank you, God, this is where I'm supposed to be. There were some times when you thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I'm not being treated the same way that I would be treated in Nigeria, where I'm from, as the son of a chief. Would you recount some of this?
Well, thank you, David, again. And the thing is, yes, my dad was a chief, during the colonial time in Nigeria, and as well as after independence and after the Civil War. And so all my life, I consider myself, having the privilege of certain things. Not that we were too wealthy or richer than anybody. It's just that I never had to be concerned about certain things. And so before I left Nigeria for US, my father said to me, now you go into a country where all that you've ever enjoyed may not mean anything to anybody over there. You have to go over there and earn your place. So when you get to America, be part of that community. And so I was like, fine, I just want to go. So when I got here, I already have a college education in real estate, and I was thinking I was going to get into real estate, but of course you have to understand the territory, understand the community. And the first job I had was a boss boy at the hotel. And here I was, and I didn't understand what a boss boy was, and I was like, okay, fine. I said, boss boy, I'm thinking that I'm going to be manager over boys. But that didn't happen because that's what in the job description. I had to wipe tables.
Right.
After and I was like, wow, this is really what my father was telling me. You go in a place where everything is going to be. But it was always something I reflected on. It wasn't a bad job. It's not like, hey, people do it and people make a living doing that. But it's just kind of reminded me that no condition in life is permanent. The only thing that is permanent is maybe when we are dead and something. And so he just gave me that impetus to say, hey, I'm glad I've done this job. I'm glad to see there are people that do it. There's dignity in labor. And that dignity in labor doesn't have to be you are paid too much money or too little money. If that was the job that introduces me to America, I was very glad and willing to do it. But while I was doing it, I said, you know what? I want to be in real estate, and I'm going to pursue that dream. And so I did it for a few weeks or a few days. I don't even remember. And the next job came, and I went to the next job.
Now, you also know a mutual friend of mine, Dr. John Bain from the University of North Texas.
Yes.
Recount, if you would briefly, your experience with Dr. Bain and how you got your first opportunity in real estate, that being the topic that he teaches at the University of North Texas.
Well, you know, when at the time I was going, it was called then the North Texas State University, NTSU. And so I was taking real estate courses in Denton, and I was getting very, very, kind of frustrated. I said, I want to be in real estate. And every opportunity was like to go be a salesperson. But I said I wanted to learn the real estate industry. I wanted to understand what drives it. So when I was taking courses at University of North Texas State University at the time, which is now UNT, I went to Dr. Bain. Didn't know him, but he was the head of department. He's still the head of department. As a matter of fact, I went to his office the other day, but he wasn't there. And I said, I need a job. And he's like, what?
No, you said you needed a job back in 1985.
This was 86. Yeah, 86. Okay. You know, I was like, hey, I need a job. And he's like, who are you? You know, are you my student? I said, yeah, aren't you my head of department? And he's like, okay, fine. Do you have a resume? And I was like, what is a resume? Mm-hmm. He said, you asking me for a job and you don't have a resume. I said, well, you know, I didn't go to school here. So if you show me what it is you want me, then I can see, you know, whatever, something I already have or something that I can do. And he showed me his own resume. I said, oh, yeah, CV. Because, you know, our educational system is mirrored after the British system, which is curriculum vitae. So he said, oh, yeah, okay, I now understand. Well, go do a resume like this and come back and see me. So Dr. Bain was instrumental in me getting my first real estate job, because he introduced me to George Roddy, who, you know, I went to work for in 1986 up until 1988, and then I went to work for the then Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation, which later became FDIC. So without Dr. Bain making an introduction to George Roddy, and George Roddy giving me the support, you know, I wouldn't have gotten into real estate. And I've ever enjoyed, in fact, George came to my wedding. He's a friend of mine. I always stop by his office and you know, just keep appreciating the support he's given me since 1986.